And we're live.
We're live.
Welcome to the Bearded Bro Show. I'm Dustin with Trav. We're two bros with beards.
We're two bros, two hoes with beards.
Two hoes with beards.
You know.
Ho ho
Well,
ho ho ho.
Yeah,
That
we're way
sounds wrong.
past that. And apologies, by the way, to everyone that thought, Bearded Bro Show first debut episode is going to be on Christmas. We were wrong.
Joke's on
Because we're
you.
not even we didn't even get it recorded before Christmas.
This is what's
actually,
funny. Is the night that we planned on recording it, which was like the 23rd. Trav and I planned this like 2 days prior to that day. We're like, we're gonna record it on the 23rd. That gives a whole day of editing on Christmas Eve and then upload on Christmas, right? No. Trav messaged me. I don't remember what I was doing. And I was like, yeah, man, like, let's go for it. And then Trav did not talk to me until Christmas. So,
man, it was not a good day that day. I'm going to be honest. But,
it happens.
But, welcome to the first debut episode of the Bearded Bro Show podcast. I cannot wait to continue doing this. I'm already, me and Dustin have been, Dustin, just to do this, there's been so much buildup, and I've been at work, just thinking about it, and, man, I wish I was off to record an episode. That's how excited I've been to do this, because, you hit me up with this, you basically saying, hey, why don't we do our own podcast? And then I started thinking about my podcast on my channel, Trav Talk. My channel's Trav Tries, but the podcast is called Trav Talks. And I was just thinking, I threw my podcast in the middle of a food review channel. Does it really matter? Not really, just because, it's not really all about the views. The podcast was obviously just for fun. But then I basically hit Ryan up about it, and his opinion was basically yeah, I feel like maybe your podcast does deserve to just be on another channel. Just because, I don't know. There's a lot that goes into that. A lot of, if you want to talk about YouTube analytics and all this stuff, not a lot of that matters, but it doesn't, to me.
Right.
But, but I definitely knew in my head that when Dustin hit me up with this idea, we already were doing so many episodes together on my podcast with me and you. Almost every time of the past few of them, I was like, hey, you want to do another one? So the fact that Dustin, he hit me up and he was like, let's do our own. Let's make it our own thing. Let's, have guests, talk about just life or just different things. It basically is going to be just a show about anything and everything, whatever we wish to, because I think that's the whole idea of a podcast, is you can talk about whatever the heck you want and make it whatever about you want.
Right.
And I listened to a few podcasts, and I really have learned and enjoyed, just conversation in general can be really therapeutic, and I feel like me and Dustin really... always hit it off. That's the exact word I was using. Is we really see right there. We just matched. We said hit it off at the same time. What is this? This is so meta.
It's a very common thing too. It's weird. It almost reminds me of that Frozen song. We finish each other's sentences. But I think they say sandwiches.
And I did not. Nope, that wasn't. I didn't do it. I didn't do it on that. But but it's just a cool idea because. And I talked to Ryan about it, and I was like, I don't know, I don't think I could keep up with two podcasts. So for right now, until maybe I change my mind in the future, I'm not really sure. But by the time this is uploaded, I will have done a video talking about the fact that this podcast even exists, on my channel, Trav Tries. By the way, our regular channels will be in the description below of every podcast episode. Sponsored by your mom. I just want to drop that in there at some point. But our channels are in the description for any of you that are new maybe to this podcast, or you're listening to this sometime in the future and you're like, who the heck are these two guys? Well, I'm Trav Tries, and he's Dustin's MC. He does Minecraft on his channel, different creative things, building things and doing cool stuff. And then I review food. We're two totally opposite channels, but somehow
very opposite.
Just our friendship has been the glue. And because, like, we've talked about this on Trav Talks, but now that basically what I was saying a minute ago is, like, that I'm basically transferring that energy onto this podcast. Like, I'm just not gonna, for now anyway, not upload any on my channel and just, like, really focus on this, just because of time. And me and Dustin really, like, have talked about it a billion times, like, working and then having channels is already just, like, it's so difficult sometimes, like, so you have to, I've figured out over time, over this past year and stuff, like, where does it, of course I got a text, and you probably heard that, but I'm going to try to silence, I didn't even think of that.
In the bedroom door.
But, anyway, but basically it just, all of this makes sense, and so,
right.
But on another podcast episode, like, since this is the first episode of this one, we might as well just jump off from what we've already talked about before, which is me and your friendship, and, like, just kind of breaking it down. How did we meet? And not that I don't know, I just want to hear it from your perspective first.
You used to watch my old channel back when I played, like, Call of Duty and stuff, because you had a passion for video games. And I don't know, I think you just, like, reached out to me one day, and you, like, commented on one of my videos, and I checked out your channel, and I was like, damn, like, he does food reviews, like, that's pretty cool, because you were really my first introduction into the whole food review thing. And then I was like, I'm gonna be an asshole and spill Diet Pepsi all over my mom's computer desk because I wanted to replicate Trav. And then it kicked off this whole competition that I never won. So that was sick. And that's how Trav and I became friends. I did this parody of him. And I poured Diet Pepsi, attempted to pour Diet Pepsi into a wine glass.
It was it was not a podcast. It was a contest that I actually announced. Like, it was like, I started my channel in 2012. I'm trying to remember. Maybe that was 2013, 2014. It feels more like my second year. I feel like that was 2013.
Yeah, it was pretty early on.
It was around that, but I remember your videos, like, and like a couple times that you mentioned me on the Attends channel, and, like, I just remember,
I think what it was too is I may have made a video talking about my anxiety or something like that. I think that's, or me having seizures.
Actually you did, and you were talking about what's his name, the guy that you looked up to before, and I can't remember who he was off the top.
It was about Easy Now.
Yeah, Easy Now.
I watched his emblem tutorials.
I watched him around that time a whole lot when he was, like, uploading, and I guess he's done with YouTube at this point, or is he?
He's done, but him and I are actually
okay.
him and I just talked actually not too long ago, maybe a couple months back. I'm personally friends with him on Facebook, and we talk, which is actually how I met him. Because I watched his video talking about, I was having seizures, and he made a video talking about, like, his, like, epilepsy. I didn't have epilepsy, but, you know, talking about it and kind of, like, how he dealt with it. And he was like, yeah, all my social medias are linked down in my video description. I saw his Facebook, so I clicked on it, and it took me to his name. Like, I thought it was going to be, like, one of those Facebook pages you would just like, and you could, like, interact or whatever, and he'd post and links to videos, whatever else. But it was his personal Facebook page. Like I said, add friend, and I was like, what the fuck, this ain't right. So, like, I got off there, and I was like, okay, like, I don't want to, like, add this guy's friend. Like, he don't know who the hell I am. So I went back to, like, a different video, clicked on it, on the link. It took me back to his actual Facebook page. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I, like, went way back in his videos, clicked on it again. It took me to the same place. So I, like, took a gamble. I added him as a friend. And, like, a day later, because he was in the UK, he accepted it. He was, like, 6 hours ahead of me. So, like, when I was, like, going to bed, he's, like, waking up and whatever else. So then, like, I saw he accepted it, and I waited a couple of days, and I messaged him, and I was like, look, man, I saw your video about, you know, your struggle with epilepsy and being bullied and everything else. Like, how did you overcome it? I was like, because I'm actually going through this, and I, like, told him all this stuff that I was going through and how I felt. And I'm a very blunt person, and I appreciate people who are also very blunt. Like, I don't sugarcoat shit for anybody. Anytime anybody comes to me for advice and they're like, I need advice on something, and I'm like, do you want advice or do you want reassurance? Because it's two very different things with me. If you want reassurance, whatever, I'll lie to you and whatever makes you feel better. But if you say you want advice, I'm probably going to say some things that are going to make you mad or you're not going to like, because I'm just a very blunt person. And he was a blunt person, and I respected that. Like, He was like, look, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. This shit fucking sucks. It's gonna suck. It's not gonna get better for a really long time. It may never get better at all. But the outcome is what you make of it. Like, if you are gonna let it control your life and let it beat you down, then you're gonna be miserable. But if you can rise above it and be a good person and be positive about it, you're gonna live a wonderful life. And it has stuck with me for so long. And I actually made a video talking about that and like thanking him because it like really affected me that much. And then my video really affected him. So then him and I became friends, and through him, I met Trav because Trav saw his video about me, and that was a whole thing. And now here we are, Trav and I are recording the motherfucking Bearded Bro Show, episode 1. I'm going to drink my goddamn Mountain Dew.
And before we continue, I want you guys to be able to have something, because like this is an audio-only podcast, and I was thinking this while you were telling your story. I was like, I better get to doing this before we get too long into the recording, but I'm going to queue up some gameplay and enjoy. This is just me playing COD, and actually, yeah, it is just COD for right now. I've recorded some more games since then, just kind of getting it ready, but basically I've had this way to record games for a while using my my flash drive, and so I'm just going to throw up some gameplay for you guys with no audio, just so it doesn't affect the audio of the podcast, but I just wanted to have something for the YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, then just something to see, just to, just something. It's just something up there. So enjoy that. By the way, if any of you play Modern Warfare, the current one, you know how hard gunfight is, and on this first match that you're seeing, I went 10-0. I don't know how. I didn't die. I don't know how I did not die in gunfight.
He cheated.
I don't know. And at some point, Dustin, me and you need to we need to like get in some COD gameplay together that can go up on the podcast, because I think that would be cool. Because absolutely. I was watching this it's not really like a TED talk, but I was watching this guy that was like talking about like podcasts and like how long he's been doing, and he's like, if you're gonna have a podcast on YouTube, there has to be like, he just got me thinking about it. Like, audio only is cool and all, but we can really like fall under the problem of like losing attention and like all of that, and like people, because I've re-listened to our episodes before, and it's kind of like you have to keep it up, for one. You can't darken your screen on your phone. You can't, like, exit out of stuff. Like, it's just kind of a hassle. Right. So I wanted to give the audience something visually for that. But if you're listening to this, and I don't know if we'll have it on any other platform here in a little bit, but if you're,
we will let you know.
If you're listening, if you are, let's just say if you are listening on like Spotify or any other platform, it's obviously audio only, so it's for your listening experience, because we're here doing that for you. So there you go.
We do want to get this up on platforms such as Spotify, iTunes, and probably SoundCloud. But all this stuff kind of takes time, But we're gonna try. We're gonna pull some strings. We will let you know. So I think what we were gonna talk about, I'm excited. Like, the holidays. We can always talk about like what we got for Christmas. I want to talk about my favorite gift I got for Christmas.
Yes, let's do that. What'd you get?
All right, my favorite gift I got this year was disappointment, because I still didn't get your fucking care package.
Why did I know that was coming? Like, actually,
every episode. It's
didn't
a
know
joke
it was
at
coming,
this point.
but like I didn't know it was coming, but like, but I should have. Like, I should have expected. As soon as I said
disappointment, you're like, God, here we go. This whole care package thing, for those of you who have never watched maybe a Trav Talks,
it's gonna be whenever it's actually there at your house, like, and you're doing like an unbox. Only if you wish to. It's up to you if you want to do an unboxing. But
I'm gonna do an unboxing. I'm putting it on our goddamn podcast channel and my channel.
It'll be funny because at this point it'll be like almost funny that it's actually there. It'll be like, well, I'm finally unboxing this freaking care package.
Finally.
That has not been technically planned over a year, but Dustin says like 3 years, but he's lying. Anyway, so
it has been a long time. Ever since Mountain Dew made their black labels, I've been getting told, I'm gonna find some and I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna put it in a care package. I'm gonna send it to you. Shit was like 3 years ago.
And then now I can't even find green or white label, and it's
look at
disappointing.
That. You see that? You see what happens when you fuck around for too long? No, it's this at this point. It's literally just like a running joke on the channel. Like if you've never watched a Trav Talks episode with me in it, like I literally start like every episode. Like I bring that up to him, and it's just become this long running joke about how Travis never sends me my care package.
Well, then maybe I shouldn't send it just so we can continue the joke. No, I'm
there
kidding.
is a giveaway in that care package.
Yes,
there's a giveaway.
Which actually, it was like very. It was very dumb because, well, not really dumb in like the way where I'm actually angry. It was just kind of like coincidence because Dustin had mentioned like, oh, I don't have these other 2 colors of like Hulk. These Hulk.
They were
Pops.
Chrome Hulk Funko Pops. Yeah,
like
I was
the
missing
Chrome
the blue
Hulks.
and the green. For the
and I knew what
time.
he was talking about. Like you said it, and you had to repeat it, and you're like, okay, this color and this color, and so around like Black Friday, I think it was, me and Ashley were in Walmart, and like we were like talking about like, yeah, we should totally try to get Dustin those 2 colors, and then like the day after we had got them, or like a couple days after, Dustin sends me a picture of like both colors in his shopping cart, and I'm like, dang it, I already bought these for you, but it's okay because like. It's basically my fault.
It was funny because I didn't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was trying to surprise him.
Tell me just
but once you bought them though, I was like, I have to tell him that was gonna be in it because I asked Ashley though, I was like, should I still send them as a joke just to be like, well, they were being sent to you, now you have 4 like or whatever. But then I was like, you know what? I think a giveaway would be kind of cool, and so I hit up Dustin with, like, that's what was in there, was going to be in there, and so basically I'm going to send Dustin just one of the colors. I don't really know which one. I don't know. I think it's blue and green again? I still can't remember the colors.
It's blue and green. I mean, I'll whatever color you want to send out, I'll send out the other one.
I'll flip a coin and just put one in there. Like, right. I'll just see whatever color. And then on both of our separate main channels, we were going to give away the pops, and I guess we'll figure out the giveaway more, and then we'll get back to you on it. So that you guys can have
6
info
years from
about
now,
it.
when I'm fucking on my deathbed and Travis sends me my care package.
Yeah, that's what it's for. It's for his deathbed. It's actually like a goodbye letter. Like,
it is.
It's like, thanks for the podcast. And,
I literally open it up and it says a big piece of paper of a middle finger.
And there's nothing in it.
I'd laugh, dude. I'd laugh so hard. That'd be.
No, you'd laugh and then you just like croak because you laughed too hard. And
exactly.
Anyway, so back to Christmas, Dustin. We were talking. What'd you get for Christmas?
All right, so. I'm going to get the boring stuff out of the way. My parents bought me oil and an oil filter for my car so I can change my oil and I don't have to pay for it. You know? So that, like, you know, there was that. A lot of my gifts were, like, combined gifts for Trista and I. So my parents kind of did this thing instead of getting us, like, you know, like, I don't know how to explain it. Instead of getting us, like, things you would normally get for Christmas, they got us like household necessities. Because I can tell you right now, when you hit a certain age and your parents stop buying shit for you and you live on your, like Tristan and I live together and we have 2 kids. So, you know, like things like paper towels and toilet paper and body wash and shampoo and conditioner and like all that stuff, that shit adds up. You know, and
it's a lifesaver when people get you the simple things like that.
Yeah, like that stuff adds up. So like a lot of our gifts, like my parents bought us like a big thing of toilet paper and a thing of paper towels and like all kinds of body wash and shampoos and conditioners. Like they just kind of stocked us up on like we got Tide Pods, you know, like stuff like that. They actually got us 2 really cool gifts that were like very personalized. One was like a magnet/tree ornament, which when you take it off the tree, you can use as a magnet for the fridge. And it was actually a picture of Tristan and I and the 2 kids, and it said family. And it was like really shaped cool, and it was just like stuff like that. And then we got probably my favorite thing that we got together was it's like a wooden serving tray, and has metal handles, and it's like a really nice like dark like wood finish, and on the inside of it it's engraved, and it says EST with a heart 2021 because that's the year we're getting married. And it says Dustin and Trista Volution. It says like love forever or something. It was like just a really personal thing, and so that was really nice. But like the personal gifts I got, my son got me a mug that said Super Dad on it, which was fucking awesome, and I eat cookies and milk out of it, and it was great, and it made me feel like a dad. I thought I would never say those words ever in my life because I just planned on staying single and never having kids, but here I am engaged with 2 kids. Not biological. I'm a stepdaddy. But still, I'm a super dad. So fuck all of y'all. Just kidding. And then Trista got me a lot of cool stuff. Trista knows me so well. And it's like, it's scary. I mean, then again, like, I mean, we do have a history. We have known each other for, oh God, 11 or 12 years now or something like that crazy. We dated for 4 years, like all through high school. She's my high school sweetheart. And yeah, now we're engaged. All these years later, 7 or 8 years later, we're engaged. But she got me 3 t-shirts. She got me a State Champs t-shirt, which is one of my favorite pop punk bands. She got me a Stranger Things t-shirt. It says Camp Nowhere. If you guys watch Stranger Things season 3, you know what I'm talking about. The shirt Dustin wears because he goes to Camp Nowhere. My name's Dustin. My favorite character in the show's name's Dustin. Kind of goes hand in hand. So I got a Camp Nowhere shirt. And then she bought me a Rick and Morty shirt because I love Rick and Morty. And then she bought me a Rick and Morty hat, which is awesome. If you watch Rick and Morty, it's the Peace Among Worlds thing. So like the front of the hat is Rick sticking his finger through a portal, like the middle finger, and it says Peace Among Worlds on the side. If you guys don't watch Rick and Morty, I'll explain to you briefly. There's an episode in season 2 or 3, I can't remember, where Rick and Morty go to this alien planet, and when they get off the spaceship, they're flipping off these aliens because Rick hates them, and he told him that flipping them off means peace among worlds. So they're like, they believe that. So it's kind of hilarious. And then she got me a pair of Vans, right? But they're the Jack Skellington Vans, because there was a whole Vans and Nightmare Before Christmas collaboration. So my Vans, they're slip-ons. They look like Jack Skellington's suit, and they are fucking sweet. So nice. I actually made a video on my channel. I'm sure Trav can link it down below of like what I got. And then she got me like an AirPods case, like a silicone case to carry my AirPods on. They come with like a little lanyard because I lose my AirPods every fucking day of my life. So that's a thing. And
so that's a thing.
What else? She got me. I got 3 Funko Pops. She got me a Batmite Funko Pop from the 80th collection, like Batman Funko Pop line they did. She got me an Alexi Pop from Stranger Things and a Hopper Pop from Stranger Things. And my mom got me a Beth from Rick and Morty Pop. So yeah, that's like the one things that like really stood out to me that I got. And like I said, everything else was like conjoined gifts between Trista and I got like boxers and like stuff like that. So yeah. What did you get for Christmas, sir?
Well, basically, like we usually go to like Ashley's mom's house. We pick a day to do that, and like her mom, like shout out to her mom because she goes all out every year. Like she basically like Paige, which is Ashley's sister, has a boyfriend. It's funny you say Rick and Morty because it made me think of Rick. Like his name is Rick. They call him Ricky, but I can't bring myself to call him Ricky. It's like a little too, I don't know, it's feminine. It's like, because his name is Rick Tillman. So, but yeah, Rick's a cool guy. He's been on my channel before. We reviewed the Popeyes freaking whatever tenders they were, voodoo tenders. But anyway, so we usually go over there, and I really like it because it's just kind of us. Like, and we like that's our fam. Like that's like Paige and Rick have came over, spent the night. Like we're all like around the same age and stuff, so it really is a lot of fun to hang out with them. And Paige and Rick seem to like me, so it's kind of like I don't know, like good. It's just like I'm kind of like, you know,
maybe
Rick
because you give them care
Rick
packages.
Rick came along later though, so I guess technically we all need to like him. So, but because I've been with Ashley for freaking 3 years, so. And I don't know, but Rick dropped this on me yet on Christmas Eve as well. Is he was like, we ate at the dining room table in their house. Like when I first met Ashley, I had moved in with like Ashley and her like mom and all them like all in like the same house. and we used to like eat at this dinner table. So it'd been a while since we've ate at that dinner table. Like, we don't ever really go over there that often. And like Rick just suddenly, like, it wasn't like emotional, but he did make me like a little bit like, wow, that's pretty awesome. Like, it made me kind of live in the moment of like, wow, like time really flies. But
Right.
he was like, Travis, and like I was just caught off guard, like, huh, what, like, what's he about to say? And he's like, I met you 2 years ago at this same table. I'm like, wow, that's pretty insane. Like, that's and so that was kind of a cool moment. Rick's just he's a great guy, and like we get along like a lot of the same things. But anyway, what I got for Christmas is the real story. But so basically, her mom, like, last year was insane because last year, like, we came inside and there was just presents everywhere. Like, her mom, and I've never seen anybody really do it like this, where she has even said out loud, like, she tries to make it like you're a kid again. Like, she literally, like, will have presents all over the floor, under the tree and stuff, but I mean, it's not really that big of a house, so it's literally, like, all over the freaking hardwood floor, like, just presents. So
That's
she'll go and be like,
house.
she organizes every single person's pile to be kind of beside where you're supposed to stand or whatever. It's not like, oh, everyone gets in a circle. It's just literally like where we happen to be standing. She just kind of was like, all right, here. And then she basically gives us, last year we took turns doing each one. And then it's a little bit more pressure because it's like all of a sudden, like, all the attention's on you to open a gift. And it's kind of like, I got to like react. Like,
right.
It's like, it's a little bit, I don't know, like it's fun. Don't get me wrong. But it just, like, I like what she did this year, which was just like, all right, everyone, 3, 2, 1, go. Just everyone start opening your gifts. Like, just like, okay, like, everyone's doing their own thing. But so she knows that I like Star Wars. Like, it's besides like the MCU, Star Wars is my favorite franchise of anything of all time.
Same.
Got the 3 original trilogy posters above my couch here. And they've been seen in videos before and everything. Me and Ashley are both huge Star Wars fans. I actually got her into it, and now she's obsessed enough to have the posters in the living room. That's basically the point. But so huge Star Wars fans, and so her mom, that's all she had to go off of. Was like, when I met her mom's like, well, what does he like, so I know what to get him for Christmas and stuff. Like, Rick always gets Marvel stuff every year, and then she gives me Star Wars stuff. So I was like, this has always been really cool to be a part of their lives, where they just, like, everyone's got their own kind of theme. Right. And she goes all out like that. So almost everything I got was Star Wars, and it's amazing because, I mean, Rise of Skywalker just came out, and I loved the movie. Just quick opinion on that. Like, I loved it. Screw the critics. Go see it. It's got problems, but every Star Wars movie does. No single one is perfect. So I got this. What I was really impressed by, and what really sat with me, was it's this little plaque. It has, like, the Rebel Alliance logo, and she basically likes to, you guys that have subscribed to my food review channel, you kind of see a little bit of my studio. Like, I got posters, and I got my desk and everything, and I got, like, stuff. You need to do a
studio tour.
I really do, but, like, recently I just cleaned it, so it's more, I need to do that now that it's, like, more organized and stuff, because it was kind of getting trashed. But I moved my desk to a more, like, against the wall where I have more room and stuff like that. But I do need to do, like, a tour. But it's not that fancy just because there's also a bed in there. It's a guest room. It's actually where Dustin will be sleeping if he ever comes down to Arkansas. Like, literally, like, as long as I live at this apartment, that's literally the room where you see my videos. Like, that's the room.
Like, that is like that.
It's like, or the couch or wherever you're comfortable. But I mean, I'd be like, well, I stay up late, so go to the bed. But anyway, so back on track. She got me this little plaque that says Jedi Master, and I mean, it's just literally, like, it was so cool, and like the font and everything is really cool. Like, it's very Star Warsy. It's not just like, I don't know, she doesn't know Star Wars that well, so it's really been extremely impressive. Most impressive, as Vader says. Most impressive. she's able to get these gifts that are so like cool. Like, I'm not even wearing them right now. I'm actually wearing my Batman pajamas, but I was wearing last night the Star Wars pajamas that she got me. They're like these really nice silk pajamas that have like Vader on them. It has a TIE fighter. Like, it's just like all the pants, like the whole pants have like this big artsy design. And like, I love when Star Wars is like art. Like, if people want to make me happy, just show me a Google image of like, here's some Star Wars art. Like, it'll literally make my day, like, as long as it's like not, because some Star Wars art is like, oh, here's a Photoshop of Vader looking kind of cool with the saber. Like, I'm not as interested in stuff like that. I mean, like, really go all out and like show me something that's like someone actually drew and stuff, and like, and actually went out of their way to take the time with it. Anyway.
Right.
And then this one little thing that I don't even know what it is. She got me like a little Vader. It's got like a hook on it. I'm gonna have to ask Ashley what that even is. I actually don't know now that I think about it. It's like a big silver, like it can fit in my hand. It's actually kind of big. Just the head of Vader, silver, and it's got like a big metal hook on the end. Maybe it's for just like jackets.
Maybe you mount
or something.
it to the wall or something. You can hang your hat
Yeah,
on
it's
it
definitely like each
it.
one of these things. There's like little stuff for the wall, and she also got me a little Lego Vader, little metal thing. Like, I don't know. I don't even know what that is either. But it has like Lego Vader attached to it. And she's like, "Isn't that cool? I've never seen one that's like Legos." I'm like, "That's cool, yeah." And like everything was like Vader themed, because she also got me one of those big like Snuggies. Like, I don't know. I know that there's like that advertisement on TV that had like the Snuggies, but I don't think that's like the brand. But it's a big Vader suit Snuggie.
That's awesome.
So like everything is Star Wars, and I love that. Perfectly in time for the movie, and my hype has been intense on it. And I've like rewatched the movies, and so it's been a good time. I'm trying to think about everything else I got, but I know her grandparents got me like a Jiffy popcorn thing, because it's funny too, because they know that I like Star Wars, but they also know that I just love film in general. Like, I love going to the movies. Like, I'm the type of person, like, if a movie is amazing and blows my mind, I'll go a couple more times, maybe, you know, like, depending on what's going on and stuff, and maybe take another friend or whatever. Like, I'll go see movies. Like, I don't care. Like, I've always loved cinema. And so, what was it? They got me Jiffy Pop because everything that they've gotten me is in the theme of just movies. Like, that's what they, and like her grandparents are like, her dad's parents and her mom and dad are separate. They got divorced, so like that's just a separate house. Like, her grandparents is like totally different. They don't really, not that they have any bad blood for like her mom, but like that they don't go to like the Christmas party for that. It's a separate place, so it's just kind of like ironic that her entire family are just like basically like, okay, Trav likes movies and we'll give him movie related stuff, and it's just really,
it all kind of works out.
It all works out, and it's also just like really, it really warms my heart, because they all, like, I just, and this could be a whole other podcast at some point talking about like, you know, anxiety and like all this stuff. And I'm just like an anxious person, and I don't socialize. Like, I don't go out of my way to go to their house and be like, hey, what's up? Like, without Ashley being there. Like, it's just not, I guess, and it might be in the same way. It's like, Dustin may not go to like Trista's family and be like, hey, like, let's hang out. Like, just, you know what I mean? It's like, you'd rather just like, if Trista's going, you tag along.
I don't. And you know, it's really funny because Trista and her mom like are close, but they're not like super close. Like, they don't see each other all the time. Like, she sees her dad a lot, and she's very close with her two brothers. And it's weird. Like, I get along with her younger brother like really well. I mean, he's not like, I mean, he's younger, but he's like in his like, yeah, I think he's like 23 or 24. But it's weird. Like, I literally can count on one hand how many times I've talked to him without like Trista being around. You know, like, even with her older brother, like, we graduated together and everything, but like him and I, like, there's no conversation. There's even times where we go to his house and I just sit there, like, I don't say anything. but I mean, that's just me. Like, it's just kind of weird. Like, I don't know. Like her family likes me, but at the same time, like, I get that feeling like, they could care less if I was around or not. You know what I mean? But her dad and I,
Yeah.
like, are probably the only people that talk when she's not around. Because, like, he'll come over a lot of the times. Like, if Trista goes to work before me, he'll come over and, like, watch the kids. So I'll, like, I'll see him for a little bit. And when I come home from work, if I make it home before Trista, like, him and I will talk. Like, we've actually been talking a lot about handguns. Just because I want to get a conceal and carry, and I want Trista to have a conceal and carry permit. And, just for general protection. But like he's a gun guy, right? Like he can talk about shotguns, rifles, pistols, like it doesn't matter. So like we were talking about guns and like what would be easy for Trista to use, because Trista's a smaller person. She has small hands, so obviously she's gonna want a gun that fits her well and feels comfortable to her in case, like she ever wanted to like practice shooting, or God forbid this never happens, but if she ever had to use it for protection, something that she'd be comfortable with. And we were talking about that. But yeah, other than that, man, like, no, I feel you. I don't really go out of my way to, like, talk to her parents unless it's, like, coordinating to, like, meet them to get the kids from them. You know what I mean? Which, that's about it.
I told Ashley this one thing. She's extremely blessed for this one. Like, I mean, for many reasons for her family, but for one main, huge reason. Her mom is so chill. Like, right. And I mean, like, because for one, I got to move in. Like, I literally stayed for, like, 2 weeks at a time one time, and I was like, I guess I should, like, go. And then, like, her mom was, like, basically, like, so are you, like, moved in? I thought I was kind of in trouble. And then I'm like, I not necessarily. She's like, well, you can. Like, it doesn't really matter. I'm like, what? Like, it literally was so, like, wow, like, that's, like, because I've grew up with a mom a lot more strict. Like, this is TMI, but I wasn't, like, allowed to, like, just, like, have any girls over and, like, close the door at all or anything like that. Like, I remember one time, like, this one chick came over that I kind of liked. It was a long time ago before I met Ashley, and, like, my mom was, like, all, like, weird about it. Like, well, don't, she didn't say this out loud, but before she came over, she was like, well, just don't close the door. And then when she got there, she embarrassed me further by saying, hey, go ahead and close the door. Like, right. In front of the girls right there. It's like, okay. And I just got this small freaking nerdy room and everything, and it's just like, okay, like, anyway, talk about, like, when girls are, like, out of your league completely. But, anyway, so, basically, like, but yeah, her mom is just so laid back, to where, like what you said earlier, that you don't go out of your way to, like, whatever. It's like, her mom doesn't go out of her way that often to be like, well, to, like, Ashley, like, why don't you call me? Like, blah, 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 like, forget, my mom is just, like, I love her to death, but that's how she is. Like, right. Literally, like, she's so, like, I have to explain to her all the time, like, I'm sorry that I don't see you that much. Like, I know, like, she's aware. She's become more, like, I'm an adult now, and I'm going to respect that. She's aware, and, like, when I first moved in with Ashley, she wasn't about it at all, and then she started to just kind of be, like, just get used to it, and, like, there was just a point in life where I just, like, I had to move on from the idea of, like, living with my mom, because it was just getting kind of ridiculous. And, like, right. Back when me and Dustin used to play GTA 5, like, that was just, that was basically just me with no job and all the time in the world, and I lived with my mom. So it's just kind of like, it was just this, like, very, I don't want to call it pitiful. It wasn't, like, super, a lot of people have it more intensely pitiful than I did. Oh yeah. But I definitely wasn't happy fully, because I knew, like, there is way more to life than what I'm doing. And it's just funny, because, like, my channel, like, has been through all of that. Like, I've had my channel since 2012, so, like, all the changes in my life have just, like, are up to now, and it's just, I just feel very, I don't know, I'm just very grateful and everything, the way life turned out and everything. But yeah, back to, like, her mom thing, because I keep getting sidetracked, and ladies and gentlemen, that's what's going to be happening on the Bearded Bro Show, like, all the time. Me and Dustin are going to get sidetracked.
I know, and I, like, you talking about this too, like, it's reminding me of back, like, I didn't have strict parents, but Trista's parents were definitely more laid back than my parents, like when her and I were dating back in high school. And I wasn't a bad kid, but I was a bad kid. Like, not bad in like the sense of like I mean, okay. This is going to be like a podcast too at some point in time. If there's ever a time where Trav can't record, which by the way, I want to touch on real quick. There will be quite a bit of content on this channel because Trav and I like also like mutually agreed, like, you know, because we work and because like, you know, he's married, I have a family, and I'm getting married, and like everything else, and our schedules are just so hectic sometimes that, you know, if there's a day where I can't film, Trav can get on and talk about something or be with a guest, and vice versa. Same goes for me. If Trav ever can't get on, you know, like I can get on, and I have a million and one things I can talk about. But like, you know,
yeah, because like you and Trista can do like an episode, even just y'all, and like see what kind of conversations y'all can have, and like
right.
then, you know, at one point the plan will be like the three of us. Rather that's first or second after that or whatever.
Right.
But a lot of different things like that. We just want to keep it like very open, and also like don't and anybody listening, like comments, like we're going to read your comments. We don't have a read comments section yet, just because, you know, this is a fresh channel. We're not going yet. So, but we will read your comments. I think it would be pretty hilarious to just ask people like whatever you want to comment. Like, comment the funniest thing possible. Like, even if you have to drop a paragraph, like just something. It doesn't even have to be on topic. Like, and we will literally give you a shout out and read it. And we're gonna figure out later, like at the beginning or at the end, like read comment section, like where should it be. But
yeah, and you guys can also like feel free to maybe suggest topics. You know, I feel like Travis and I.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say too. Is like, you know, request topics or request like you can even email us, because, and I forgot to drop this, and we're gonna get better at this. From now on I'm gonna drop the email. I'm going to mention the email before we even get started. But it is at bbroshow@gmail.com. That is BBROS SHOW show. Wait, yeah, that is show. bbroshow@gmail.com. I will leave the email in the description. You can email us or just comment, maybe even a problem you're having, and we can discuss it. We can literally, if you don't mind it being public, you know, if you don't, it's whatever.
If you want it to be public, comment it. If you want it to kind of be anonymous and you don't really want us to say a name or mention much about it, just kind of talk about it, email it. It's just the best way to keep it confidential between us, obviously. So yeah,
yep. That reminded me very quickly, like, yeah, just dropping the email on the second episode. I'll just mention the email, like, right off the get, just to give you guys the whole idea that you can talk to us. We're here for you. It's going to be a fun time. But I forgot where we were at with what we were talking about, but I think you were going to say something.
Yeah. So, like I said, what I'm going to say, I'm going to just mention very briefly. This can be something that can be its own separate podcast. Like I said, if Trav isn't ever available to record, or if he is, we can talk about it. My mom and my dad were never married, my mom and my real dad. They split up when I was really young, and I don't really ever remember my mom and my real dad being together. I always remember my stepdad being there. But me and my dad, me and my real dad have a relationship. We talk every day and stuff like that, and as do my mom and I. But growing up, there was like a lot of tension between the two of them, and there was always like fights. Not fights, but like they didn't talk to each other. And if I was with my dad would say a bunch of things about my mom, and my mom would say a bunch of bad things about my dad, and I was constantly being pulled in the middle of like, you know, who to side with. And that as a teenager, that fucks you up real bad. You know, like it's just like, it's weird. And I think that's a lot like where a lot of my anxiety and kind of depression stemmed from, was that. And I really can't blame my parents, because I don't think they realized like the effect it had on me, because I didn't show it. I didn't talk about it. I acted out. So when I say I was bad, like I was bad in the sense that like I was kind of a dick to my mom. I was a kind of a dick to my dad. I lied to them. Like I would make up excuses, and like I would not ride the bus home from school and like go hang out with people. It was just, I was stupid. I made stupid choices. Not like bad in the sense that I was like doing drugs or like beating my parents or anything like that. Like not bad, but bad in the fact that like I lied a lot and like disrespected my parents a lot. But you know, when Tristan and I were dating, like my parents weren't I thought they were being strict, but looking back on it, maybe they weren't too strict. But like when Trista would come over to my house, it was like the same thing. It was like, like if you can be in your room, whatever, just leave the door open. Don't close it, don't lock it, whatever else. And obviously because of that, Trista and I weren't like super cuddly or lovey around each other. But at her house, it was completely different. Like we could go in her room and we could be butt naked. Nobody was going to say anything about it. You know what I mean? Like her parents just didn't care. So, like, I would always get so mad because it was such a hassle to get Trista to be able to spend the night at my house or me spend the night at her house because my parents knew. Like, I wanted to go over there all the time, obviously, because, like, she was my girlfriend. She was my first love. Obviously, we were, like, doing things with each other. We were teenagers in love. Things happen. Sex happens. And, like, my parents weren't stupid. They knew. They're like, no, I know why you're going over there. It's because they just let you get away with it. Like, it's not going to happen here. And that used to piss me off so bad. And it's so funny now because, like, there's times where, when I'm home and Trista's home where I'm, like, really loving, like, cuddly and, like, touchy-feely with her in a non-sexual way. Don't take that the wrong way. And there's times where she's like that with me, and like we kind of, it gets brought up in discussion between the two of us a lot, and she's like, we could never have that at your house when we were younger. It was always at my house, but I wasn't allowed to go to her house a whole lot because my parents knew what was happening. So it's just kind of really funny that even after all these years later, like our relationship just kind of carried over from where it left off, which is super weird how that happened. But like, no, I completely get it with like the whole, like Trista and I grew up very opposite of one another, like very different, lifestyles living with our parents. And, that's something that she can talk about. But yeah, it was really odd because for the, like I said, there's times where I feel like her family doesn't like me. So fun fact, when Tristan and I graduated high school, my gift to her was when we graduated high school, we were both going to take like a leave of absence from work. We were going to go to Florida for like a month, right? I took all my graduation money and bought us plane tickets. I was going to pay for us to like go down there and do all kinds of fun things. Like that was my gift to her. Her and I ended up getting into like a lot of arguments and stuff like that. And she called her mom, and her mom drove all the way from PA to Florida, which was like 15, 16 hours, and picked her up. And I woke up one morning and she was walking out the door. Broke my heart, but whatever. But I don't know where somewhere along the line a message got relayed to her father that I beat her, which never happened. I've never, ever, ever thought about laying my hand on a female, and I would never do it. Like, it's just not who I am.
Yeah, I don't believe that for a second. It's right. Not in your nature.
Right. Well, back then. Listen, now, I'm going to be honest. And some people may not like this, but I'm going to talk about this. If you are one of these people, one of these girls, and you preach equal rights, and I want to be treated like a man, and I want to be treated fairly, I'm telling you now, if I was ever out somewhere, or I was with some girl, and she started punching me, right? Like, say like I had a girlfriend, she got mad, she starts beating me, like punching me in the face, but she's claiming like these equal rights shit. I'm sorry, but if you hit me more than 5 times, I'm knocking you the fuck out. Male, female, I don't
like
care.
You're gonna defend yourself, yeah.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like there's a point where, you, and it's,
of course they can use that. Like, he punched me. It's like, you punched me first. Like, it's
right.
gonna look, it's gonna look bad.
It's
no
a
matter
sensitive
what.
subject, but like, then again, like, I'm not a violent person. I'm not an asshole by any means, but like, I'm just saying, like, at some point, like, you got to defend yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you want equal rights. That's equal rights. Like, if some dude comes to me and sucker punches me and doesn't knock me out, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna fight. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing. Like, obviously, I'd be a lot more lenient if it was a female. Like I said, like, probably like 5-6 times, like, blows to the face before I finally, like, maybe not knock them out, but, like, restrain them, or push them, or, like, get the hell away from me type of thing. Which is, it's never happened, ever. But anyways, her dad, it somehow got to her dad that I beat her. I don't know who said it. I couldn't figure out, but her dad sent me the nastiest message I've ever got from an adult in my life. And her dad and I are cool now. But he told me, he's like, if I ever see you back in PA, he's like, I'll fucking kill you, like, type of shit. Right. And I was like, dude, I didn't hit her. I would never hit her. like, yeah, sure, we weren't getting along and, you know, things were all fucked up between us, but like, I would never do that. Like, I don't know where this information ever came from. And when her and I first got back together, I was like, for the longest time, like, I didn't talk to her family at all because I was like, just like, they don't want us to be together, you know, but they've all been very, very accepting of it. You know, like, her dad is happy we're getting married. Her dad and mom are divorced. But like, her dad's happy we're getting married. Her mom's happy we're getting married. Like, her brothers are cool with it. So like, it all kind of worked itself out. But, you know, there was a point in time too, which I honestly wouldn't mind sitting down with Trista and kind of making a podcast for the channel, like talking about our relationship, because like, like I said, it was crazy. Like, we've known each other forever, and it's just like, kind of a cool story how it all worked out. But
yeah, somebody out there can relate to some of it, you know. Just whatever subjects y'all two are comfortable with discussing publicly. But yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would be. And like, I'm open to talking about my life. I've done it on my channel. I've literally made videos talking about my depression and like what caused
it.
Like,
out, man.
I'm open with that
That's how
stuff.
I see it.
Because it's nothing to be ashamed of, you know? Like,
right.
You know, at one point in time, I was not okay. Like, in the head, mentally, I was messed up. And, you know, it's like kind of in a weird, like, it kind of sounds weird to say it this way, but I embraced it. Because if I wouldn't have gone through that and I wouldn't have forced myself to get better, I wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be doing this stuff. I wouldn't be the person I am today. Like, you almost have to embrace, you know, like, the issues that you face in life, because if you don't, like, you're just going to live miserably. Like, yeah, it sucks. There's a lot of hard times. But you know what, like, at the end, it's all of what you make of it. Like, if you can get through the hard times and, you know, think positively, something positive, there's always going to be a positive outcome. Like, things always get better. It just may take a long time. I know it's super cliche to say, you know, things get better, but it's true. Things do get better. You just have to, like, persevere and push through and fight and just be positive. I'm a big, firm believer into, like, speaking things into existence. Like, it's kind of weird how many times, like, I've, like, said something to myself, and I have a very one-track mind. Like, if I set my mind on something, like, I don't care if it takes me 5, 10, 40 years. Like, if I have my mindset on something, I'm going to do it. And it was, like, the same thing with, like, my whole Minecraft channel. I was like, you know, like, I'm going to fucking do it. Like, one day, I'm going to hit 10,000 subscribers, and I'm, like, at over 8,000, which is, like, mind-blowing that I'm still that close.
I think you're going to do it sooner than you even think, because, like, your channel's growing, man.
It is. It's crazy. YouTube sub-purged me, so fuck them. I lost, like, 120 subscribers from the sub-purge, so fuck you, YouTube. But I still love you.
It's like, I'm still create for your platform, but
exactly.
Like, that's basically every YouTuber right now anyways. Like, I love doing this, but I hate YouTube, but I love it. Like,
I also want to say, too, I'm a potty mouth. I do not swear on my channel, right? But, like, just because it's Minecraft, like I'm not going to be, like, place 5 fucking cobblestone blocks. Like, nobody wants to hear that. I mean, some people might want to hear that, but I'm not going to do that. I've never heard Travis swear, ever. I think the worst words I've ever heard Travis say were ho, hell, and dadgum.
like what dadgum is like number 3 on that. That's not number 1. That's like it's like dadgum is like my way to not, you know. It's like and Ashley can second this. Like, I say when I get, like, mad at a game because there's been some, or just I get mad at YouTube, like I'm trying to edit or I'm trying to, like, Adobe's crashing or something like that. I'll be just like, son of a biscuit, like, and I just, like, you know, I make these funny ways to just, like, to let it out, because my philosophy is always just like this, is like, and not to say anything to Dustin, because, like, about him cursing, because it's just, you know, me and Dustin are very similar people, but we have, like, the little things that make us different, and that's okay, because everyone's different, and that's totally fine. I think it's better that way anyway. I think it's better, but I've always strived to just, to be better, and, like, one thing I was going to say a minute ago was, I mean, my Christian views is why I don't swear, obviously, because I don't want to burn in hell. Like, that's one reason that that's the drawing the line for everyone right there, is just, like, that's the main reason. But there's but even if I If I wasn't Christian, I don't know. Like, I can't even tell you, like, if I would or not, because that's kind of unfair to say. No, I wouldn't, because I would believe in being better. Like, it's not. I don't know.
I'm sure you've swore before.
I have, but it was like by myself, and I am so, like, I'm not even myself because of how just I'm flipping out. Like, it's like I'm seeing red. I'm just like, I'm that angry. I gotta be like really. You got to really, really get deep inside my freaking heart and like mind, and like just make me turn and just Hulk out. Basically, just Hulk pops chrome. I turn chrome and then I cuss. But what I was gonna say earlier was this is like, and I'm going to drop this as my recommendation. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have recommendations at the end of the podcast episodes, just kind of like it could be life, it could be just one recommendation for every episode for just literally each of me and Dustin. So that's 2 recommendations from us. And my recommendation is every day that you're living is a day and time to work on yourself. I've always believed that. I know that we get busy, we're sucked into the jobs that we have, me and Dustin get sucked into the YouTube world, we get sucked into, like, our ladies, like, our freaking lives, and like, all of those, I knew Dustin would stop and, like, make a joke about that, but I was trying to move on, but again, Dustin's potty mouth, so there you go, but but no, I mean, like, and obviously I've dropped my, like, dirty puns. I do it all the time. It's because it's just like I think it's pretty harmless, but because I'm aware that people like my friend Thomas, my coworker Thomas, shout out Thomas. Like, I know that if I don't acknowledge that there's a dirty joke there, he's gonna do it anyway. So I might as well just acknowledge and make it funny. Like, I already really know, funny
moment that I gotta tell you.
But basically my recommendation is, like, one of the reasons that I don't curse is this one thing is, like, like, I've always tried to be different. Like, a lot of people have been made fun of, and, like, they have their life story about, like, oh, you're different or whatever, but, like, I've always been like, no, embrace it. Because that's what people really gravitate towards is, because I feel like when I die, I already told Ashley, like, when I die, and, like, if you're still here, like, you make my funeral, you make it a freaking party. Like, I want you to celebrate, like, my, not like my life in, like, a pedestal way, but, like, just celebrate life, in general. And I think one of the things that people would look back on is, like, and this isn't just trying to be cocky or trying to be like, oh, I'm the best or whatever. Like, it's a personal thing with me is try to be better than the person next to you. Like, and Dustin is not technically next to me, so he doesn't count right now. No. But try to just, I don't know, try to be better than the way you were the day before. And, like, we don't always do that. I wake up in moods. Like, everyone has their flaws and problems, but I feel like it's going to make the world a better place if you're different. And I feel like people have misjudged me. They've looked at the hats, they've looked at the beanies and the beard and been like, that guy does drugs. I mean,
He's
they have literally, yeah, like, that's a hipster that freaking smokes weed, and, like, and, I get the YouTube comments, you look like you smoke weed, and I'm just literally like, TBH, I have never even tried it. Like, I don't think about it. I don't even think about the idea of, like, let me make myself feel good. Like, I've grown into, like, I've tried alcohol, like, I've done all of that. I've gotten more adult about stuff, like,
and just like at my wedding in Jamaica,
and tried to expand my taste because it's harmless. Like, the Bible literally never said, like, you can't drink. Like, Jesus turned freaking whatever into wine. I can't even, like, a scripture. But I can't, like, even right now, I couldn't even remember what it was. But anyway, like, it's just, that's my recommendation is, like, wake up every day thinking, hey, like, what can I make better? And, like, one of the first things that I decided when I became an adult is like, how about I be just different and just not cuss? Like, cause everyone in their effing mother, no pun intended, everyone, Dustin's like, no, you mean effing, like he said the word, like, no, you mean that word, right?
I got
like,
you.
Well, the pun, and the irony is that I don't cuss, so I wouldn't have said that, but, I try my dangdest to not. And I mean, it's just a personal decision, and I'm personally proud of it. I'm not trying to be like that about it, but I no one can ever persuade me otherwise. That like people say all the time, like, oh, it lets out anger, it really whatever. I'm just like, yeah, but there's a lot of different ways to do that, and like not to sound really dark, but I will let Dustin continue and then do his recommendation, and then we should probably be wrapping it up.
All right. So before I give you my recommendation, I just want to tell you about a dirty joke I made the other day. It was actually on Christmas Eve. I was playing Fortnite with my buddy, and Trista was laying in bed, and I believe Aiden was playing Fortnite with me and my friend Willard, and Aiden was like, Trista's like, okay, buddy, you got to go to bed. And I turned over to him, and it was so funny because it took everybody, like, well, when I say everybody, I mean Willard and Trista, like a minute to like understand what I said. And I turned to Aiden after Trista told him to go to bed. I said, Santa won't come until you fall asleep, and if you don't fall asleep, Daddy can't come either. And I'm an asshole. And like all of a sudden, I look back. Trista jumped up, laying flat on her stomach, jumped up, 180 in the air, and started slapping the shit out of my arm. But it was funny.
I was like, wait, what? Oh, like it took me a second, but yeah, that's great.
It was good. So for my recommendation, I'm going to give you a little throwback, right? This is something I used to say all the time. It's still something I tell my friends to this day, and I have it tattooed on my body forever. I like tattoos. Anyways, kind of to touch on what Trav said about, like, how we all kind of wake up and have bad days. Something that I heard that has stuck with me for many, many, many years, like, and it obviously has made such an impact on my life.
And I have used it in my life and have and have told other people it too, and used it as advice, so it actually works.
Right. And this is probably like the realest information I could ever give you, right? Like, this is the realest piece of advice I could ever give you. It's just a bad day, not a bad life. Like, no matter how hard, how bad your day is, or how many, you could have 6 bad days in a row, it does not matter. Just because you have bad days does not mean you have a bad life. There's always somebody out there that's going to have it worse than you, and you need to remember that, Like, sometimes I have to stop and think and kind of like almost humble myself in a way of like, like today, I had an awful day at work. God awful day at work. It's Boxing Day. I work in a retail job. It's a European and Canadian holiday. And I'm not saying this about all Canadians, right? Like, I've met some awesome Canadians and awesome Europeans that have come through my work. But living in Pennsylvania, I'm very close to the Canadian border. And we have some people that come down that are just general assholes, and that will look down on you and will treat you like crap and destroy your store, and you're stuck picking it up. I mean, I had an awful day. Like, I dealt with more bad people today than good, and I was frustrated, and I was like, I don't remember, I was just venting to Tristan on my lunch. I was like, today's so fucking stupid. Like, fuck this sucks. And I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? Like, there are people out there that literally cannot physically work. Like, I have a job. I'm making money. I go home to a beautiful woman and family every night. I have a nice phone. I have a brand new car. Like, I have all this stuff. And it honestly, like, I thought to myself, like, just because I'm having a bad day, like, I'm not having, like, I don't live a bad life at all. And I honestly, today I used that. I had to stop, and I had to remind myself, like, you know what, man? Like, you're having a bad day, but you're going to go home and you're going to have an even better day, because you can just play video games and shoot the shit out of people, and nobody can do a damn thing about it. And yeah,
record a podcast with Trev.
That's my recommendation. It's just a bad day. It's not a bad life.
And I feel like, every negative in your life there's a way to turn it into a positive. Like, I know, like, deaths and stuff are a lot harder, and, like, I understand and, like, all this, but a lot of, let's just say a big percentage of the negatives in life you can turn it around. Don't let it get to you. Don't get sucked into the patterns of life. Like, I have found myself, like, I get sucked into the same way of thinking over, like, a whole week, and I, like, have to just be like, bro, like, you're not, like, I feel like me and Dustin are the same about, like, really, me and him are both very, like, okay, thinking, and it doesn't stop. Like, it just never, like, that's just, like, how my mind works, is I have to sometimes put that wedge, like, just in between, and just, like, and reflect and think about, the next move, or otherwise, I'm just... Sometimes some things are just bad for you, like getting sucked into the same patterns of thinking. You're just going down a toilet bowl, basically.
Oh yeah,
and it can be extremely hard. But it takes a mature person to, like, think for themselves. And some people that are immature can turn into a mature person if you just stop, think about what's rational, think about, like, I don't know, just like what's right. There's always what your gut goes for, and I've always thought, like, God or no God, however you guys, whatever your religion is, everything, but, like, there is a gut feeling where something's, like, right and wrong, and I've tried to follow it. Sometimes it can be confusing, whatever, but it's just, like, to me, it's just all about, like, how can you make things better? And sometimes, like, because you have the choice. Like, you're literally, as you're listening to this podcast right now, in this second that you were listening, no matter how far down, if 2 years from now, or you're listening to it right when it dropped, right now, in this moment, anything that you're having in your life that is bad, like, and sometimes you can't even help it. It's just something you can't help. But if you can change it, and you figure out, I can change that, you can change it now. Right now, in this second, by thinking differently about it. Like, just know, like, you have a drinking problem or something like that. Like,
I had a drinking problem.
Dustin had a drinking problem that I didn't even really know about, until he told me on the podcast. Just because, like, I guess he was so ashamed of it, I guess, or just so inside of the drinking problem that he didn't, you know what I mean? It's like, it's easier to think back on something and reflect better when you're out of something.
Problem. I knew when it started. Like, I could tell. Like, when all I wanted to do was drink, I was like, yeah, this is a fucking problem. But, again, it was at a point in my life where I forgot, like, my life starts and ends with me. It starts with my choices, it ends with my choices. Like, I can let this kill me, or I can fucking do something about it and not be this way anymore, A
lot of people act like you have less control than you do, and I'm going to tell you right now, you have all the control on, like, all the way till you're 90 years old, or however long you live. Like, you have the choice, and I don't want you guys to, like, get hit by a car or something tomorrow. You never know what's going to happen, and, like, you just didn't make the right choices, and, like, just make them now. Like, if we want to call a 1.5 recommendation to, like, my recommendation is just, like, the extra little half to mine is make better choices. Like, wake up and realize, like, whatever you're doing right now may not be the way to live, and, like, you can make better choices. But we shall continue more of that in the next episode of the Bearded Bro Show, because we're going over an hour, and I definitely...
We are like it's
sad because I don't want it to end, but, like, but we will go, maybe on the next one or the third one, whichever one we decide. Maybe we can go into Dustin's talking about alcohol, being an alcoholic, and, like, blah blah blah, like, and which I don't know if you were technically an alcoholic, but you liked to drink, like, apparently, and
like a super, like, there are people that literally, like, get dependent on alcohol. I just drank a lot not to feel. It's not like that I was dependent on. Like, I know people that literally, like, if they didn't drink, like, they wouldn't sleep. I wasn't that bad. It was just more or less to, like, bury all the bullshit in my life, but the bullshit never went away. It just got worse until I did something about it. So
it only makes it worse.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll definitely talk about it. I can't say, like, I was, like, a raging alcoholic, but, you know, I definitely drank every day for... probably almost a year. It was
Smoke weed every day, even though I never tried it. But anyway, guys, like, share, subscribe. And I was about to say my outro for for my channel and all that beautiful stuff, guys. But, we'll figure out the outro at some point. And I have to cough, so I'm going to try to wrap this up before it happens.
Okay, yeah, me too. Let's go.
All right, see you guys. Have a good one.
Yep. Peace.